Hey, you, listen up. The NFL season is rolling right along, and DraftKings, as an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is bringing you all the action and all the best deals. Look me in the eye. If you somehow have not signed up for DraftKings yet, well, I got a great deal for you. Download the app. Use the promo code T-Bob, T-B-O-B, and when you bet $5 on any NFL game, you get $200 in bonus bets instantly, which you can then go play with. But T-Bob, I love snaps, I love you, and I've already signed up. Well, guess what? DraftKings is taking care of all their customers throughout spooky season as you get game day sweeteners the entire month of October. So whether you're new, whether you've been around here for a while, DraftKings is the most fun place to play. It's taking care of you. Again, if you're signing up for the first time, promo code T-Bob, $5 NFL bet, nets you $200 in bonus bets instantly. So let's have some fun watching the games this spooky season. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for a problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles, Louisiana, 21 or older, age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in to a brand new episode of Snaps. It's Friday, which means it's time to get some picks for the weekend. And we got our guy, Collin Wilson, the co-host of Action Network's Big Bets on Campus podcast. You see the green background, okay? It's not wishful thinking. Collin has lights and he can change whatever when it's green. That means things are going well. He has been on fire on this show lately. Listen to this, man. Who told you last week about Quinn Ewers against coverages that Oklahoma ran, and about Dylan Gabriel against coverages that Texas ran? I teased up Oklahoma to 7 right on hits. And lo and behold, look at what happened. The two-time Woo Pig graduate of Arkansas nailed it once again. Collin, what's up, man? How we feeling this week?
I'm feeling good about last week. You're only as good as your last bet. I mean, Georgia whacking Kentucky made us a lot of money. Oklahoma made us a lot of money. But this weekend, the board, boy, it's a little dicey for me this week. So we'll see what we can find. See if we can find any value.
Okay. Let's start my favorite game of the weekend. The first of a series of Pac-12 heavyweight battles that we're going to get to witness. Oregon at Washington. The hometown Huskies, 3-point favorites. What's your angle here?
Yeah, I've been in love with Washington for like 8-9 months, and I sadly might be hopping off the train a little bit. These offenses are the best in the nation. They're number 1 and 2 in quality drives. You can't say anything bad about either of these offenses. But the glaring weakness here is the Washington rush defense. It's not even close. They're bottom 20 in defensive rushing success rate and line yards, stuff rate. It doesn't matter. It means Oregon's going to be able to run wild. Bucky Irving, Jordan James, those guys are creating missed tackles or they're rushing touchdowns. I think the one thing that's interesting is that Bo Nix had 66 rushing attempts last year. And I don't know if it's that they don't need him or it's the high ankle sprain, but he's only got 7 rushing attempts this season because the running backs have been so good. So we'll see if they're going to implement him to run. Now, because Oregon is going to be able to run the ball and control the line of scrimmage, that means they can dictate the pace. And so I don't want to really fade Washington, but I think Oregon's going to be able to dictate their number and dictate how fast this game is. I took Oregon over 32.5 team total points. Because if this thing is going over, it's because Oregon allowed it to go over. And if Oregon covers, it's because they control the line of scrimmage. So I'm all about the Ducks getting their points here.
Aaron, I would challenge you to try to look more smug. I would really challenge you to try to look more smug. I think it's a physical impossibility.
I'm going to have to ask Dan Lenny for a little Oregon jersey after this weekend. All right. A&M, tough loss last week against Bama on the road versus Tennessee. I think they are getting 3 points right now. I think A&M wins the damn football game. Where are you at, Collin?
I'm with you. I took 4 on open. It's at 3. I would take 3. I have it down to 2. So I think that's when I would stop buying Texas A&M. But there's I talked about this last week. There's a lot of teams that have phony strength of schedule, right? Like we're not paying attention to the full resume. Tennessee's one of them. They're 104th in strength of schedule. And, there's things in Joe Milton's numbers that just do not make sense to me whatsoever. Why is his average depth of target, the lowest of his entire career. Well, I can kind of answer that. His passes over 20 yards have gone from a 51% adjusted completion rate down to 33%. He's taken a major dip in accuracy when he throws downfield. And who would have thought halfway through the season, Tennessee would be 125th in pass explosives? How does that happen with this offensive structure? So, I brought up the coverage stats last week and they work. Milton loves quarters and cover 3. He has a high success rate against that. His efficiency drops off the map against cover 1. What does Texas A&M run mostly? A lot of cover 1 there. So I think there's going to be some problems for Tennessee. I don't like this Tennessee offense whatsoever. It's a timing offense and they just don't have it.
It's kind of comical. People keep saying like, oh, look at A&M. They give all those explosive plays to Alabama. This is not Hendon Hooker's Tennessee offense. It's like you said, like they've not been doing that because Joe has not been accurate. They're dinking and dunking and running the football, which for A&M, that's their strength, stopping the run and playing man coverage.
How do you have a guy that can throw it 70 yards, but his ADOT is 8 yards? What is that, right?
They don't trust him.
So the only thing that I've been thinking from Tennessee is they're in Neyland and they do run it very well. But you think in a battle of maybe the SEC's best rushing attack and the SEC's best rush defense, the analytics say that A&M should win that fight?
Yeah, they should. And plus, I think we're missing the fact that A&M is number 2 now in the nation in defensive havoc. So if you make a mistake, they're going to make you pay. So that's a huge. I mean, you could point to Tennessee isn't making mistakes on offense, but like again, 104th in strength of schedule. What defenses have really given them trouble? None.
Okay, so what's the play here? A&M minus what?
A&M +3. I would take it down to +2. I don't know where the line goes, but I take A&M.
All right, there we go. Next on the list, USC-Notre Dame in South Bend. USC right? Yeah, no, Notre Dame favored by 2.5 here. Collin, I know you gambling guys tend to like weather. This does not seem like Los Angeles weather to me. Maybe in the low 50s, wet, rainy. Does that come into your equation at all?
It absolutely does when you got a running back named Audric Estime, who's averaging 4.4 yards after contact. He's created 38 missed tackles this year, and it's going up against a USC defense that PFF grades 111th in tackling. When you look at some extreme metrics like broken tackles, USC is just awful. They are terrible, and that weather really helps that. And remember, who does weather really affect? Well, wind affects passing. I don't think you're going to affect Sam Hartman and Caleb Williams. They throw a frozen rope. But the ground and how wet it is actually helps an offensive running back or a wide receiver to make the first cut and kind of juke the defender. So I think the weather really is going to help Notre Dame here. I have expectations that Sam Hartman is going to be able to throw all over this USC defense. I don't have to go deep into that because everybody has. And Caleb Williams, is he going to be able to escape the rush? He's going to do that little spin move, get outside the tackle box. And then I go back to the coverages again. Caleb has a sub success rate against cover 1 and cover 3, and he thrives against quarters. And Notre Dame runs a lot of cover 1, cover 3 here. So there's a lot of advantages. And this is a bet that I call a hot sauce bet. And I tell that to my wife because she doesn't want to know financially what's going on with the money. But when I say hot sauce, that means it's a bet to make you uncomfortable from a money perspective. That's what Notre Dame is this weekend for me.
Okay. So you're saying put a couple X units you normally play.
We could lose 12 games, but if we win Notre Dame, it's all okay. Let's put it this way.
Go, dude. Okay, dude, I'm in. I'm right with you, Collin.
There's an ultimate confidence in this bet is what you're saying.
Yeah. Hot sauce bet, baby. Bring it home.
There's going to be red lights. If I show up next week and USC got the covers, there's going to be some red lights going on.
or you're going to be in a different room because your wife kicked you out of the house.
That's exactly.
That one. All right. Last one from us before we get to some of your top picks for the weekend. Over under 1 for Miami kneel downs for a prop bet this weekend. No, I'm kidding. Miami's getting 3.5 points on the road versus UNC. How do you feel about this one?
Oh, crystal ball. Like I almost quit gambling when that happened in 2018. As somebody that had Oregon in that game, this is an underplay for me all the way. Both of these offenses, I think, are going to struggle here to get some success rate, to get down the field, to show methodicals. That has not been Miami's game at all. They haven't had any explosives. They're kind of methodical with their running and their passing, but they have just not been a huge chunk yardage kind of team. And UNC has been poor in defending the rush. They did limit Garrett Schrader and Allen for Syracuse last week. But I mean, there's a lot of things here that says that both of these defenses have enough to shut them down in the red zone. They're both really high on defensive finishing drives. And Drake May is facing some coverage that he's not real comfortable with. Miami will go quarters and cover one. That's something here that Drake May has shown that he's normal against. I would say just average success rate. Drake May is pretty good at everything else. But, I'm waiting for this to get to 59. 59 is one of the biggest keys in totals. It is moving that way. That is when I want to hit the under because there's no rush explosives for the Hurricanes. And Drake May struggles against quarter coverage. So give me the under in this game.
Oh, wow. Okay. Not as gambling advice on this game, but who do you think wins? I'm just curious from an ACC perspective.
It's funny. I went back to see what Oregon did after they had that, that they ran the ball. CJ Verdell fumbled. Yeah. They won the next 2 weeks. They played Cal, who was ranked the next week, and they beat them by like 3 touchdowns. So I don't think there's going to be any kind of effect from there. So Miami can rebound. I think it's probably a 3-point game, and I'd give it to the Hurricanes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Wow. All right, Colin, what are your best 2 plays? Sorry, guys. What's the best 2 plays of the weekend?
I'm going to go off the map here with North Texas hosting Temple. Temple is god-awful. They might be the worst in college football. They have lost 3 in a row that have been really bad. North Texas is showing improvement success rate with the air raid scheme that they're running. So I'll leave it at that. They don't want to go too deep in something that dark. But I will say Arkansas, Alabama is on the over is something that I like. And Arkansas is such a boomer bust offense right now. KJ is just getting manhandled, sacked everywhere. But he's also lined up in shotgun and throwing 30-yard bombs with some receivers he's comfortable with. So I expect them to explode a few passes against Alabama and get enough points in there, while Jalen Milroe all of a sudden is throwing 320 yards and threading the needle downfield against the Texas A&M defense. Arkansas cannot – this pass rush is not going to stop Jalen Milroe. He's going to have explosives on the ground. He's going to have explosives in the air. I like the over on this on a total that keeps coming down. I don't know why, because it's a boomer bust offense for both.
Colin, how's our boy Sammy P going to be doing come Monday?
I mean, 5 losses. We haven't had 5 losses.
I'm sorry. It just feels like the Sharks are circling.
Well, the pitchforks are out on Hogville. Everybody wants Dan Enos fired right away, and you can't hire. Listen, the basic rule of life: don't hire your friends to run coordinator positions. All right, don't do that. And I think the last thing I'll say is it's really tough for Arkansas fans because we love Sam Pitman. He is so relatable. He's so easy to talk. It's not Chad Morris and his bullshit car salesman. It's not Houston Nutt being a reverend. It's just so much different with Sam Pitman as anybody else. It's hard, but you can't lose this many games.
Yeah, I mean, bad look for Enos emailing back and forth with a student immediately after the game about play calling, dude.
Don't you have shit to do?
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's when you know you're lost in the sauce. The rabbit ears are up. You just you've lost the thread. Well, look, man. Woo pig. Okay, we're gonna make it through this. We're gonna make it through. In college football, it's all just about finding that right guy. And here's to hoping Arkansas can do that.
And that might be Rhett Lashley, who did go to Fort Smith Northside. So we'll see if he's the guy. Or I'll take Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. So I'm not too upset if Sammy P gets the cut.
Oh God, that's true. John Smith's probably looking for an out anyway, too, right?
Bring that rushing attack to the state of Arkansas.
There he is, Collin Wilson, Big Bets on Campus podcast from the Action Network. I mean, he's the man. Okay, so tell me what I missed here. We got Oregon over the 32.5. Are you also playing Oregon to cover?
I will play him at 3.5. I'll play him at 3 lighter.
Okay. So Oregon over 32.5 and 3 or 3.5. A&M all +3 all the way down to +2 in the A&M-Tennessee battle in Neyland. Hammer Notre Dame, hot sauce bet, go big. Notre Dame -2.5. And then the under for Miami-UNC, and the best 2 plays of the week. North Texas playing host to Temple and covering, and the over in the Arkansas-Alabama game.
Love it. All of it.
There he is, the man, Collin Wilson. Thank you so much, Collin, and we look forward to doing this again next week. And thank you to everybody who listens. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, share it with your friends, everything else. We love you, and we'll see you this weekend for some more snaps.